I'm going to talk here about the gender binary and analyze it a little bit. This is an idea that we now believe is wrong within gender studies, but it's a way of thinking of gender that's important to understand. The binary says that there are men. Men are male, masculine, and they're attracted to women. And then there are women. They're female, feminine, and attracted to men. And that's it. There's no other possible people. That's how people are supposed to be, either one or the other. And if people exist who don't fit on that list, who aren't either male, masculine men or female, feminine women, then there's something wrong with them. They have to be fixed. Maybe it's a spiritual problem, maybe it's a medical problem, but they're seen as a problem for society that needs fixing by people who believe in this idea of the gender binary. So where's this come from? Binary, like bicycle, means something there's two of. The most famous use of binary is in computer code, either a 1 or a 0, right? Can't be anything else. And in this case, it's female or male. Think of those drop-down boxes where you have to select one. That's the binary. And the way the binary works is it puts all these things in a column together. So looking at women, for example, it expects that they will be female. They'll be assigned female at birth. They'll have a vulva. They'll have XY chromosomes. They'll have estrogen and other female-identified hormones. They'll be feminine, present in a way that we associate as being correct with women traditionally, and they'll be attracted to men. Heterosexuality is an important part of the gender binary. We now understand this idea is wrong, and here's some of the reasons why. When we talked about social construction, one of the pieces of evidence that something was socially constructed is that it appears differently in different cultures and over time, and this is certainly the case with gender. There are many, many cultures around the world and through history who have identified more than two genders, who have identified gender as more complex than the gender binary. And so this is evidence that the gender binary is socially constructed, is culturally specific. You'll hear it referred to sometimes as the Western gender binary, identifying that it comes specifically from Western Europe and America, and European America, and doesn't exist everywhere else in the world, and certainly doesn't exist in the same way. Another reason to question the sex binary even, which is the basis of the gender binary, is that human genitalia are homologous. What does this mean? It means they're made of the same stuff. So as the human genitalia develop in utero, they start out at 7 weeks, you can see at the top of the picture here, as the same in all humans. And then over time, those develop in different ways, in the ways we typically associate with male genitalia with the penis and female genitalia with the vulva, but the different parts that make them up are the same. So the glans of the penis, for example, is the same material as the glans of the clitoris. And so this can develop in different ways. So there isn't as much difference between male and female genitalia as we often like to think. In fact, they are similar in lots of ways. So why is the binary wrong? Well, for two reasons. One is if you look across each row of the binary, you will find people that do not sit on either side of the row, right? We've talked about intersex people who are neither clearly male nor female in the way the binary expects them to be. We've talked about the way that people have a balance of hormones, right? It's not just that men have testosterone and women don't, that in fact it's a scale, that people can be bisexual or pansexual, right? They don't just have a single gender attraction. And this is even more true of masculine and feminine, which exist in an incredibly complex space where there's lots of different ways to be feminine, right? You can be female presenting in a really wide variety of ways. And I think almost all of us have ways in which we're outside the binary, right? Many women might be into a lot of traditionally kind of girly things, but also have an interest in things that are presented as being for boys, right? We're complex people, and we often can't be simply put in just the masculine or feminine ways. So that's one reason the binary breaks down. And so this isn't just, a way in which it breaks down for people like trans people or intersex people who are kind of more clearly outside of the binary, but a way it breaks down for really all of us. And then, of course, people cross the columns. People have maybe a male body but have feminine presentation, right, and so forth. And this whole idea of the opposite sex comes from the binary and is something that I think we need to